Although it is the world's second smallest continent, Europe welcomes more than half of all the tourists worldwide. Welcome to Around the World. Today, we'll be looking at the best places to visit when you're traveling to Europe. Are you a fan of our channel? Be sure to subscribe to Around the World and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. For this list, we will be looking at the top places to see when visiting Europe. A well-preserved cultural heritage, rich history, safety, and efficient infrastructure make visiting Europe a breeze to travel to and around. Number 25. Vienna. Vienna, as the former capital of the Habsburg Empire, is immersed in magnificent imperial buildings and palaces that reflect the riches and power of its former emperors. The city, which is now Austria's capital, is a joy to get lost in. Mozart, Beethoven, and Schubert were among the celebrated citizens who formerly graced the streets, earning the city the nickname City of Music. Number 24. Stonehenge. When you see Stonehenge, you have to admire prehistoric man's determination. On what were once burial sites, construction began around 3000 BC. A few hundred years later, massive monoliths weighing 25 tons were hauled 150 miles to the site. It's unclear how many massive rocks were relocated to a field near Amesbury, but there are currently 13 standing. It's also unknown why Stonehenge was created, but many people believe it has something to do with early astrology. Number 23. Matterhorn. Egypt may have pyramids, but Italy and Switzerland have their own natural pyramids. The Matterhorn is one of Europe's highest mountains, standing at 14,692 feet. Each of the mountain's four faces is equally rough. Since its first ascent in 1865, the fabled peak has attracted climbers. Throughout the summer, 150 people attempt to summit it each day. Staying below and gazing in awe at the summit and playing hide and seek with the clouds may suit couch potatoes just as well. Number 22. Plitvice. The Plitvice Lakes are so beautiful that they have been designated as a national park. Plitvice Lakes in central Croatia are made up of 16 lakes that attract over 1 million people each year. The lakes are surrounded by lush woodlands and linked by waterfalls that cascade from one lake to the next. Because of the difference in elevation, the lakes are divided into two sections, lower and upper. Walking on the roof is the finest way to see the lakes, and you might even glimpse some wildlife. Number 21. Budapest. When the Hungarians took over in the 9th century, Budapest was already a well-established metropolis. Budapest is the capital and largest city of Hungary nowadays. Budapest was governed by the Mongols and the Ottomans, among others, between these two events. Budapest, one of Europe's most attractive cities, is home to the Museum of Fine Arts, which houses a collection of over 100,000 pieces. Make a point of seeing the Old Town, which features numerous museums, cathedrals, palaces, and the Parliament building. Number 20. Lisbon. Lisbon, the Portuguese capital, is located on the Tagus River, which runs along the Atlantic coast. In the 15th, 16th, and 17th centuries, it was a destination that inspired adventurers to sail around the world. The Bell in the Tower, a 16th century stronghold on the Tagus North Bend, is one of the sights you'll want to see. Head to St. George Castle, which was erected on a mountaintop by the Moors and offers great views of medieval Lisbon. Number 19. Gullfoss. You certainly don't know many individuals who have visited Iceland, but the beautiful Gullfoss waterfalls may be worth visiting. Gullfoss is a popular tourist attraction in Iceland, located in the south. It has the appearance of a glacier at times, which is somewhat appropriate given that it is fed by one. The waterfalls start soon after the Ölfusá River makes a perpendicular curve and flows down a 3-step staircase into a 115-foot deep canyon. Number 18. Athens. Athens, a city that has been inhabited since the 5th century BC, is the birthplace of Western civilization and gave the world the concept of democracy. The Old City contains many of the city's important landmarks, particularly around the Acropolis. The Parthenon, which sits atop the Acropolis, is included in the list, as is Zeus Temple and Dionysus Theater, where Sophocles' works were played. Number 17. Bay of Kotor. If you're looking for some magnificent landscape, head to Kotor Bay in southwestern Montenegro. This Adriatic bay, bordered by mountains with tiny settlements nestled between the cliffs and the magnificent blue water, is simply breathtaking. The bay is surrounded by several well-preserved medieval towns. Pilgrims come here not just to admire the scenery, but also to visit the numerous Orthodox and Christian churches scattered across the towns. Number 16. Moscow. Moscow has served as Russia's capital for approximately 900 years. As a result, this historic city has a lot to offer visitors. Let's start with the 15th century Red Square, which is surrounded by many of the city's major attractions. The Kremlin, a historic stronghold that now houses museums and the Russian Federation's president, sits atop the monument. The distinctive onion-domed St. Basil's Cathedral, now a museum, lies in the center of the square, while Lenin's tomb is on one side. Number 15. Venice. Venice is for lovers who like gliding down the Grand Canal while listening to gondoliers sing Italian love ballads. After all, this is the place from whence Marco Polo set off on his expedition to China. Begin your tour of Venice at San Marco Plaza, the city's most famous square, where you'll find the Doge's Palace, the Venetian government's seat, and St. Mark's Basilica, the city's largest church with breathtaking views from the tower. Venice is also known for its canal-side bridges. Number 14. Monte Carlo. If you're looking for glitz and glam, look no farther than Monte Carlo, the Principality of Monaco's capital. Monaco has always been known for these virtues, which were elevated to unprecedented heights when the Prince of Monaco named Grace Kelly his princess. Monte Carlo, located on the Mediterranean coast, is famed for its fast cars and high-end casinos. Take a stroll down the waterfront to see the yachts of the wealthy and famous. Number 13. Alhambra. One of Spain's outstanding wonders is the Alhambra. It's a beautiful palace-castle complex in the Andalusian province of Granada in southern Spain. Although it was erected on the remnants of an ancient Roman castle taken seized by Christian authorities, this enormous structure began as a tiny fortress in the late 19th century. It was here that Columbus received permission to explore the new globe. The centuries-old blending of architectural forms is beautiful, and there is a wonderful art and grand gardens throughout. Number 12. Florence. With great artists like Michelangelo, Florence is widely credited with bringing Europe out of the Dark Ages. Their work is on exhibit at the Gallery or the Accademia, which also houses the real David. While strolling around the Arno River's Ponte Vecchio, have a gelato. At the Pitti Palace, you can see the Medici family's extravagant wealth. Admire the early engineering that built the magnificent Duomo. Number 11. London. In London, history buffs will have a field day. From Buckingham Palace to Hampton Court Palace, this city on the Thames is brimming with palaces. The crown jewels are kept at the Tower of London, which is more of a prison than a palace. From Knightsbridge, don't miss Harrod's wonderful food halls, as well as Carnaby Street's fantastic shopping. By taking the famed tube, you can move around London swiftly and efficiently. Number 10. Neuschwanstein Castle. The Neuschwanstein Castle in the Bavarian Alps is properly described as a fairy tale castle. Some think Neuschwanstein was the inspiration for the castle in Disney's Sleeping Beauty because of its 19th century Romanesque revival architecture, which seems like it simply stepped out of a fairy tale. The castle was created as a getaway for Bavarian King Ludwig II, who saw it as a romanticization of the Middle Ages. The castle was constructed of bricks and then coated with rock, including the white limestone that can be seen from a distance. Number 9. Amsterdam. Amsterdam is a charming city with flowing canals and tall, narrow row houses. It is the city where Anne Frank recorded her most famous diary, so paying a visit to the house where she wrote it is essential. Starting with the Rijksmuseum, which houses famous European treasures, this Venice of the North is also a city of exceptional art. The residence of Rembrandt and the more modern Van Gogh Museum. Take a break from sightseeing to visit the Heineken Brewery and drink some Holland beer. Number 8. Prague. With a lengthy history of violence and destruction, Prague is regarded as one of Europe's top tourist destinations. Despite the devastation wrought by WW2, Prague maintains a charming old town that is well worth spending a few hours exploring. Walking through Prague's many pedestrian zones, through Prague Castle, through the Jewish Quarter, and over the Charles Bridge is a joy. They're in the new town halls, which have a lively nightlife and entertainment vibe. Number 7. Istanbul. Istanbul is located outside of Europe, but it is definitely worth a visit when going overseas. The Bosporus, which connects Europe and Asia, is one of Turkey's most fascinating cities, with its rich history, vibrant markets, and other top attractions. The ecumenical Hagia Sophia, which has served as a Greek Orthodox Christian basilica, an imperial mosque, and now a museum, as well as the 15th century Topkapi Palace, which is now a museum. Getting some shopping done at the Big Market, which has been open since 1461. Number 6. Fjord. When Europe's summer heat gets to you, escape to Norway for some refreshing beauty. Fjord is a 9.3-mile-long fjord in Norway with crystal blue waters and spectacular flowing waterfalls. Take a scenic car ferry ride through the fjord, passing through communities along the way. Keep an eye out for the Seven Sisters and Suter waterfalls, which are so named because tradition has it that he's courting the sisters. Look for the bridal veil, which appears like a thin veil covering the rocks when the light is just right. Number 5. Barcelona. Barcelona, a thriving metropolis on the Mediterranean Sea, was founded by the Romans. It is a regional powerhouse as the capital of Catalonia. It is possibly most known for the architect Antoni Gaudi's unique structures. These iconic landmarks include the La Sagrada Familia, a church that has been under construction since 1892. You could plan your entire trip around it, but you'd miss out on other Barcelona highlights like La Rambla, a busy pedestrian strip in the city's heart. Number 4. Dubrovnik. Dubrovnik isn't particularly large by European standards, but don't let that dissuade you. With a population of fewer than 43,000 inhabitants, this tiny gem is one of the most visited cities in the Mediterranean. Dubrovnik takes tourists to a time when the fortified city was a major maritime force with the Mediterranean's third-largest navy. You'll certainly come across cultures of Saint Viejo, the city's patron saint, whose life is commemorated every February, while you explore the streets. Number 3. Santorini. Take a trip to Santorini, an Aegean island, when you want to kick back and relax. This is a top tourism destination, and once you've been there, you can't help but agree. Visit a village perched atop a cliff to see picture postcard villages, an active volcano, and breathtaking sunsets. You'll also want to try wines like the desert wine Vincanto, which is made sweeter and tastier by the volcanic ash soil in which it grows. Number 2. Paris. Some praise Paris is beautiful in the spring, but any time of year is a fantastic time to visit this captivating city on the banks of the Seine. It's a city rich in history, culture, delicious food, and high fashion. You won't want to miss seeing the renowned Eiffel Tower. The Louvre has one of the world's most important art collections. Sacred Heart and Notre Dame are two of the city's most beautiful churches. Versailles, with its famous Hall of Mirrors, is the epitome of wealth. Number 1. Rome. Ancient Romans had outposts as far as the United Kingdom. When it comes to monuments, they did not overlook their homeland. The Colosseum, an arena that could hold up to 80,000 people for gladiator fights, is a must-see attraction. One of the most popular attractions is the Vatican Metropolis, a miniature country within the city with a magnificent St. Peter's, Basilica, and Michelangelo's paintings. Perhaps you'll catch a peek of Pope Francis at his Wednesday audiences. Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other videos for great travel destinations, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell to be notified about our latest videos.